Welcome back. Learn Programming Episode 4. I'm hoping we're going to fix those issues we created yesterday. And yeah, maybe get some refactoring done. I've made the text bigger and stuff, so hopefully that's easier for people to read. There's just check levels. Audio levels seem to be okay. Yeah, let's get to it. So the biggest thing was that screwed up landing when you're facing the other direction, right? Let's make sure. So you can turn, but when you land, DX gets changed, which should not be the case. I'm going to see if the other way works just for... Okay, yeah, that's busted too. So something is going on the land, on the self.grounded, that is messing up all this stuff. So, yeah, one thing I need to do is just to go through and add better notes. Once I refactor this, once I get this working, I'll refactor, make everything a little prettier and organized better, and then add better notes. So I'm trying to find when it's shifting its DX. Like, why does its DX get shifted upon landing? Let me make sure that's the case. Like, DX is positive, and then if it lands, it should be negative, which is wrong. Yeah, why does it do that? And it's different. Like, DX is 175, and then 235 upon landing. Tier 5. I just want to see if it like increments tiers. See, yeah. It shouldn't. See, watch this. Speed tier, when I turn in the air, speed tier gets incremented, which is wrong. Which... the increment should only happen when you're grounded. But then, upon landing, the DX is getting shifted, which I'm not sure why. Right here. So if it's grounded, oh, you know what? Did I already? I think I just commented this out as I was trying to debug it, because that's the, if you're, well, no, the DX shouldn't be changing anyway. Huh. So facing right is false, and then it should switch to true. Okay. So what about this way? Is that really it? Okay, I need to fix the reset function real quick. So in my play state, I have if R is pressed, reset stuff, but this needs to be better. let's go to the player 1 class, see where it's X. Well, it would be in when it's initialized. Shoot. The player object is initialized here. So this is the X. So if we want to reset, player X is going to get that. Player Y needs to get this. And there's got to be, this is, I'm already seeing like just error or, like mistake after mistake. Because it's like, why is this minus 36 minus 20? And it's minus that because it's minus 20 because that's the height of player 1, because it's X, Y, width, and height. And then it's 36 because that's where the ground is. So, ideally it shouldn't be like this. Should be player 1.height and reset its speed tier and all that good stuff. Then we need to stop all sounds. So yeah, stop all those sounds. I guess I'm still confused why DX was changing when I was landing, even though it has to do with the facing directions, because that line I uncommented right here fixed that. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I guess. See, and this is weird. It's like, it's working right now. So do I dig in there and see if there was a better way? Or do I just accept that it's working, and then if I hit problems, then I can go back and do it better? I don't know. But for now, let's just like kind of stress test it. Make sure it's working as wanted. So yeah, facing false. Now it should keep its right velocity, but face right. That's correct. Skidding works. And this way, so it should be able to turn, keep its X velocity, and then turn back. Yeah. And then let me just make sure the speed tiers aren't getting, yep. Speed tiers aren't incrementing, and it shouldn't increment upon landing. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so this is sick. This is awesome. Huh. Look at that. If you're in speed tier 1, it's making a little skid sound. Which it shouldn't even be, skid shouldn't even be going to true. It should just be going to speed tier 0. So let's fix that real quick. It would be under wherever the skidding logic is. Oh yeah, sounds are all at the bottom. So yeah, right here. Look, if you see, look, right here. If speed tier is less than 2, meaning if it was 1 or 0, maybe I just need to explicitly set it to false. because for some reason if it's greater, right, else if it's greater than 1, but 1 is not greater than 1, so it shouldn't set skid to true. I don't know why that's executing. Let me see if this fixes it, just like saying, hey, you're not skidding, by the way. At speed tier 1. Why is that the case? Why would pressing left cause skid to be true when I'm in speed tier 1? Wait. Speed tier greater than 1. I'm just seeing if that. Huh. That's so weird. Oh, I need to reset its dx to 0 as well on the reset. Okay, now that makes me really confused because I thought that was the only place skidding was being set to true when pressing left. Let me see if there's any other. You know, maybe. Okay, well, I was gonna say, like, maybe we have another if conditions and only play the skid sound if skidding is true instead of putting it in the. But it should be the. It shouldn't. You know, we should be able to fix that. So this should be acceptable. I just don't get why pressing left makes it go haywire. Is there any other? Here, let me reset the DX. See, and I guess I thought setting its speed tier to 0 would mean DX is 0, but let me see if speed tier is 0 logic. No. I guess I don't have anything saying speed tier 0 then 0 DX. Which I guess I should though, right? Right here. So see, this doesn't make much sense. Like, my code doesn't make much sense. Like, I should have done this better. Because is there any self.speed tier that is 0 that causes some logic to happen? And that's only if the button's pressed. So yeah, I would say, I guess, where's the speed tier logic that like decides what speed tier I'm in? Because if I'm in speed tier 0, DX should be here, right here. So I'm missing the yeah. See, I'm missing speed tier. I'm missing speed tier 0 logic. I need to say, I can get rid of this. And say just that. And add in a speed tier 0. Which if speed tier 0, then set its dx to 0, which is what it should be. Else if this is really fun. I really like this. It's really it's like the only limitation is if your brain can wrap your head around how it would be possible, you know? Like coding is super creative. And then watch this all break. It's still making a skid sound and still turning true when I'm in speed tier 1. So let me see if the reset is working better now, though. Yeah. Yeah. Reset is working better now. For whatever reason, self.skid is being turned to true when I'm in speed tier 1, which should not be the case. So where is self-skid true, and why is it working? See, and this is the weirdest one. That's like, I would think commenting this out would mean that self-skid wouldn't turn it into true. Well, okay, now I'm super confused. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense because the audio logic. So I guess one thing, it's like to prevent bugs like that where because bugs like that where it sounds like crap like that, even though like skid was playing, even though skid wasn't set to true, but that's because my logic for skid being true or false, well, shoot. I guess I'm trying to say that this implementation of the sound being at the same spot where skid gets true makes sense if this isn't buggy at all. But if it's a little bit buggy, then you can get into a loop where it sounds like crap like that. So like my question is like, do we add that extra line of code that says if self.skid is true, then do these sounds, even if this is busted. Like if this is busted now, it shouldn't make those awful noises. Well, classic blunder. Yeah. So now it's not making those awful sounds. So I guess, but the idea is like it wasn't making those sounds when this was true and I didn't have this. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you should add that extra layer of question or not. Or if you should just make sure this isn't buggy and then it won't be all messed up. But still, this is like, for some reason I feel like the else if is screwing me here. I don't know why. So if, and maybe, so if left is pressed and you're facing right and your speed tier's, oh, here, you know what? Shouldn't that fix it? Shouldn't that fix it? Because if I'm setting my speed tier to 0, now speed tier when it's 0 gets the 0 dx. So how would self-skid be equal to true if I'm in speed tier 1? Why? Why are you going to... Oh, this should only work. This. So if I comment this out, if I'm in speed tier 1, that shouldn't change anything. Like, what the heck? What am I missing? Let's go, like, literally rubber duck debug. This is why I'm streaming this, you know. If left is pressed and you're facing right and your speed tier is 0 or 1, then set your speed tier equal to 0. Now, I've got where is that speed tier? Here. So if speed tier 0, set your dx to 0. So if this is busted, if my skid is busted, I'm not setting to dx to 0 correctly. And not self.skid. That's so strange. But why? Yeah, I'm still confused why self.skid is getting turned to true when I'm in speed tier 1. Like, if speed tier is greater than... Let me just see, because speed tier less than... So this line of code here should be, like, it should be set when I press left, instead of self-skid being true, it should be, oh, speed tier's at 0. And since speed tier's at 0 and you're not skidding, your DX is 0. But since self-skid's getting set to true, I don't think it's setting its DX. Which might, well, see, and that's the other thing. It's like self-skid being true has nothing to do with DX at the moment. Is that right? Okay. I really don't know. So I changed this to 2. Greater than 2. So now 1 and 2 shouldn't trigger skid. Which it didn't. But, hold on. See, that's just so messed up. See, pressing left when speed tier is 1 should not increment speed tier to 2. What the heck? So I'm pressing left. It increments speed tier. And the super... So how is pressing left... How is pressing left incrementing my skid tier? That's what I want to know right now. The speed tier increment is right here. And you know what? Maybe... right there and grounded. So look, yeah, if it's left and your speed tier is 5 and self.grounded, then so yeah, I was in speed tier 1, I hit left, then I incremented the speed tier, which is clearly wrong. So, I mean, you know, my code right here is wrong, so how is it? Left is pressed. You gotta check which way it's facing. Left should only increase its speed tier when I'm facing left. Okay. So that's it. So I need to go where the right speed increment is and do the same thing. Or say like, hey, you also gotta be facing right. And then I'm gonna go back and change this to greater than 1 and see if only speed tier 1 doesn't have the skid sound. Right is not working at all right now. That's just so weird to me that would screw up like that. now 2 can't stop. What is going on, man? I think things are getting lost, or like, I think it just comes down to the complexity of what each button does in different situations. So like, for example, pressing left. What can pressing left do? Well, if you are stationary and facing right, left will turn you facing left. It'll increment your speed tier to 1, and then it'll start moving you left. But pressing left, if you're in the air and you're going right, will just flip the way you're facing, but keep your DX the same way, keep your speed tier the same way. But pressing left, if you're grounded and moving all the way to the right, will set skid, equal to true. So the nature of the complexity of the game design in terms of the limited controls is what's making this such a difficult problem for me. So I guess the question is, it's almost like I have to have a different state system. Well, I mean, because like right now I'm managing it by saying like, hey, if left was pressed and you're grounded and you're less than speed tier 5 and you're not facing right, then do this. Is there a better way to do that? Or do I just have to say like only see? Because something's, I think it's getting messed up because some of these commands are getting, overwritten by the others because they're not limited to just the case I want it to, even though I was thinking that I was programming like that. So in terms of fixing that, like where do I even start? Do I put I think to make it easier to look at or understand, I need to put all of these. Oh, that's good at least. I've got all the, if a keyboard button's pressed, logic. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of pair them up like, hey, here's all the logic for when left is pressed, and then I just go case by case basis, making sure each one of those is correct. Same with the right. Then one thing I also want to do is, instead of space being the sole jump, I want up on the arrow key to be jump too, just because it just feels natural. That's an easy fix. See, this should be in player class as well. Here. Let us put jumping into player 1 class. This is why programming books tell you not to repeat yourself. because I'm changing so much nonsense. But it's like I really don't know how to program better right now. Okay. Player jumping is now in player class. And we also need the looping to be moved to player class, which I guess can go up here or whatever. So also, like, one thing that's hard to wrap my head around is the order of this stuff matters too. Like, if I just, like, maybe my problem would have been fixed if one chunk of code was above the other because one was overriding the other, but if they were swapped, that wouldn't have been the case. I'm pretty sure that's possible. So it just takes, I guess, just a close eye and good logic. So yeah, left is not skidding anymore. And why is that the case? Left is not setting skid to true like it should be. Well, probably because I commented it out. Okay, so, like, why? Okay, let me continue with what I was doing. Let me continue with what I was doing, which was pairing up all the logic for the key presses. I'm going to put jumping down here so that all my key inputs are in the same spot. This is a left press, a left press. And right press. Up here with the right presses. Wait. Yeah, if it's commented out at this point, I think I'm just gonna basically get rid of it unless it's like a thing I'm, actively working at, because it's just making it harder to see this stuff. That's bugging me. Okay. Okay. So now that's just so much easier to read now. Now if it's like, why is the buttons not working? Space button, right button, left button, they're all in the same place, and now I don't have to go digging around. Okay. What's so weird is the self-skid.true when I'm going right is working. So this one's working as expected, where if speed tier is greater than 1. So why is this one not working? Oh, you know what? I changed it. Yeah, I remember. This one gets end. This one gets that. The else if was screwing me because right was pressed and a condition was satisfied, so the else if never got executed when I'm seeing a mistake here, I think. No? Let me see if that fixes it. Please don't skid. Please don't skid. You. Okay. Maybe it's because I forgot to do this. No. I mean, skid shouldn't be setting to true. Skid should not be setting to true here because speed tier is not greater than 1 when I'm walking like that. So like, yeah, skid false. That's what I thought. So why does that even execute? Okay. That was not what I wanted. Can I like double? Oh yeah, nice. Okay. It still don't make no sense why this is. So yeah, why is this the case? Because what's happening is skid is getting set to true when I press right. Oh, you know what? I think I just saw it. This. Oh no, yeah. That's not skid. So look, I'm moving left. Speed tier's 1. When I hit right, does skid go to true? It does. Why? The only time I'm saying skid gets true when I'm pressing right is right here. But this condition right here. Oh, you know what? So the and, what do you call that? Operator means that every single thing needs to be evaluated to true in order for that body of code to execute. So for some reason, speed tier greater than 1 is being evaluated to true even when speed tier is 1. Let me see. Because for whatever reason, this one worked fine. This one worked fine when I'm facing, when I'm walking right. So right here, the only time that skid is getting set to true when I'm pressing right is right here. So that means for some reason, all of these are being evaluated true. So like self.speed tier greater than 2, it's 1. Oh my gosh. That's just like a slap to my face. It's like I would prefer if neither of them were working right now, because the weird thing is left is working fine. So like, what's the difference? We're saying the direction and the speed tier and the grounded, then self-skid gets true. Why does that one work? Huh. I just realized something. If I'm walking right, I'm facing right true, yet when I stop, I go to facing left, which I should still be facing right. That's the only difference between these two. So I think the problem lies within, the facing direction. And even though this one's working correctly, in terms of skid, only skid not being set to true when I'm in speed tier 1, it's messing up because, it's only working because my facing right is incorrect in this logic, whereas this one, it's broken, but my facing right is appropriate. So I need to fix that. So right here, if right is pressed and you're grounded, I think I just need to pull this out. Pull this out of this logic because the turning is different than the speed increment. So this is fine. You press right and you're like that. However, actually, Okay, one thing I'm thinking is the order of operations for this pressing right. But it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It should be rock solid no matter what. Like, it shouldn't matter which order these are in, because the cases should be, the conditions should speak for themselves. So what is this line of code doing? It's incrementing the speed if we're grounded. And see, look, I need this. Okay. So this is increment player 1 speed tier with right press, yes. What is this line of code doing? It's supposed to be turning. So if right is pressed and you're grounded and you're not facing right, then become facing right. So where is the I guess just for sake of consistency, the first two rights are increment, speed tier, and turning. So the first two lefts should be increment, speed tier, and turning, which I need to fix. So we'll split this up. Turning is separate. So we should increment the speed tier when left is pressed, when we are grounded, when our speed tier is less than 5, and we're not facing right. That looks correct. Now, when should we turn? Well, we should turn when left is pressed and speed tier 0, yeah. Need this. But what do I do up here? Yeah. And so, is this the same thing I came up with, right? And grounded and not facing right, and self speed tier is 0. I guess for consistency's sake. Oh. And grounded and facing right, speed tier. Classic. So here the equal signs are very important here because this says set speed tier to 0, but this is asking. It's a conditional, like, hey, is speed tier equality to 0, equal to 0? Let me see. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Easy fix. Easy fix that I don't know how to diagnose. Let me see if left is working at all. Okay. So let me just see. Yeah. So right off the bat. Wait. Why is facing right false? Facing right is initialized to true, right? Wait. What the heck? Facing right isn't even... Why? Why do I do this? Who said I should do that? You. Okay. Let me see if that might fix it, but probably not. Okay. Facing right is getting set to false for some reason. So this is saying its Y position will get the smaller of the two numbers, one of which is its current Y position plus its delta Y, and then the other is the clamping behavior, which is that's just like saying, hey, the ground is here. Which this is going to have to be changed in the future because there's going to be platforms. Because right now I only have the ground, so it's fine to calculate its Y based on the ground. But as soon as I add platforms, I need to check for a ground beneath it, I guess. So what this is saying is, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was saying right here. It depends on where the ground is. If self.y is the ground, then set grounding to true. set its y to exactly the ground. Wait, why do I do that? Self.y is equal to the ground level. Then self.y gets the ground level. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Does that do anything different? Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's like I'm pressing right and it's not going right, which is like the very first thing I implemented. So that now that that's broke, it's like a little baffling, but we'll figure it out. I don't know why I had that, but anyways, it's saying like if y is at ground level, you're setting ground to true. And then this line of code is saying if your x is, if you're moving right, see, and that's just messed up. Why is that the case? So this line of code is setting which direction it's facing based on its dx, which is probably why this is not being facing right from the get-go, because I'm initializing dx to 0, and dx, 0 is not greater than 0, so that means facing right is false when it should be true. So there's got to be another way to implement the facing right without relying on dx. Let me see if the skidding is even working. Okay, at least the skidding's working. But right now, when I'm stopped, I can just, face whichever direction, which is not the case in the game. If you are speed tier 0 and you're facing right, if you hit left, you turn facing left and you automatically start going left. So when I press left, or right, instead of brakes, I should say stops. And then same with this left. So I guess my question is speed tier incrementing when I'm stopped? No. See, speed tier should be, if I'm stopped and I hit either direction, speed tier should increase. So in the speed tier increment logic, okay, yeah, shoot. You really don't know how complicated the simplest things are until you try to do it yourself. So yeah, the problem is It's just like yesterday where it's like I would implement a solution and that solution would break things. And then fixing that solution would break other things. Because I'm going to take this out. Same with this. Which I think will break some things. Like, well, I don't know. Yeah. See, that's where the... Oh my God, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Why is left completely busted? This is super humbling. Like, it's like I was trying to fix one thing. I was trying to make it, not skid when you're in tier 1. Yet, I'm still not there and everything's broke still. I mean, we really just got to go line by line. Like, okay. So, this line of code is increasing the speed tier when I press right. Now, what conditions need to be so that pressing right is correctly incrementing the speed tier? Well, you need to be pressing right. Your speed tier needs to be less than 5. You need to be grounded, and you need to be facing right. So, now the thing is, this is also the case if right is pressed and these conditions, well, yeah, see, turning. Okay. So I guess the question is, how do I increment the speed tier to the right? Oh, see, yeah. Oh, shit, my ass. See, like this line of code should also execute if I'm facing left. But only if I'm facing left and the speed tier is 0. So I'll say because this is the problem. This line is the problem where I could just face left or right and speed tier isn't incrementing. So I need to say, hey, by the way, else if you press your right and speed tier is equal to 0, and your ostrich ass is facing left, and it's like I don't have a facing left, I just a boolean, I use a boolean for the same thing, so it's not facing right instead of left, but whatever, I don't need 2 values for that. Then you also need to increment your speed tier. So if I'm stopped and I'm facing left and right is pressed, this else if will launch and say, hey, you pressed right and your speed tier was 0 and you were facing left. In that case, increment your speed tier by 1. But I also need to say, hey, by the way, you're facing right now. Because facing right with the speed tier will give me the appropriate dx, which is moving to the right. So now I need to do the same thing with this. Say, hey, yeah, increment speed tier when you press left if you're not already at speed tier 5 and you're grounded. However, else if left is pressed, this should fix that stopping. Or like, you shouldn't be able to turn and stay stationary because that's not how the game worked. So this should fix that. So I'm saying if left is pressed and you're facing right, then this else if will trigger, as long as you're stopped, as long as your speed tier is 0. Then what we're going to do is set you to face left, increment your speed tier. Moment of truth. Let's see if skidding makes a sound at speed tier 1, which it should not. Okay. And left is busted. It's okay. Let's do... What the fuck? What is so busted about it? Like, can I even move left? Can't even move left. Can't even move left. See, pressing left when I'm facing right should be like, oh, by the way, well, I'm facing right and speed tier 0. It should be like, oh, you're facing left now and your speed tier is 1. And since you're facing left and your speed tier is 1, your dx is negative. That is not happening. I'm pressing left, speed tier was less than 5, and I was grounded. Set speed tier equal to speed tier. Okay, I mean, this is wrong. At which point do I want to increment my speed tier when I press left? I want to increment it when I'm facing left and I'm grounded and my speed tier is less than 5. Then increment my speed tier. But I also want to increment my speed tier to the left. If I'm facing right and my speed tier is 0, in which case I want to become facing left, then increment my speed tier. Okay? Same with my right, or it's like, hey, I only want to increment my speed tier to the right if right is pressed and I'm grounded and I'm facing right and I'm not at speed tier 5. Increment. However, if right is pressed, speed tier 0, and I'm facing left, then face right, increment your speed tier. Let's go. Left is not working at all. Left is not working in the slightest. And skidding is making sounds. Let's keep going like line by line. Like why? Okay, so my current logic is like, I'm pretty sure what's messing it up is that these other conditions are overriding. They're overriding what I'm figuring out. So like, it might in fact increment my speed tier in the very first frame. However, in that very first frame, it also sets it back to 0. So it's like this code could be perfectly right, yet I'm overriding it because these aren't specific enough. Because these are evaluating after this was already evaluated. So does that mean I put everything? Yeah, so one way to fix this in my eyes is like put all of these lefts, keyboard left press, into an else if, and do the operations that way, because that way only one thing is only one press left is getting executed and you're not overriding anything else. So should I go for that? Does that make sense? Because I'm almost positive that the logic is sound. It's just that the logic is overriding the sound logic because it wasn't specific enough after the fact, and the order of operations matters here. But I run into the same problem where if any potential case is left out of the else if function, one could evaluate and then be done with the loop before it gets to the proper line of code. Does that make sense? If I do the else if. So I guess the move is to really try. Sorry, is there a way to pause these recordings? I don't think so. I just drank too much coffee. Okay, let's do this. Let's just do it right. Make it good, make it right. So my current logic is like that we should try that else if, but we should do the order of operations in such a way they're as specific as possible, and might as well start with like the first case, like since we spawn grounded and spawn facing to the right, that the first case would be like, hey, if your speed tier is 0 and you're facing right, just go ahead and turn left and start incrementing your speed tier, to 1, which would give you the negative dx. Excuse me. So, and then kind of go from there. Like, then if left is pressed and you're already moving left, then you increment speed. Then if left is pressed yet you're in the air moving right, that's when you just swap the way you're facing. Yeah, and kind of build it out like that. That's my current plan. I think that's the way to do it because, yeah, you don't want to be overriding stuff you already solved, So the else if helps get around that, because as long as your conditions are specific enough to catch the case you're asking for, it'll cycle through those else ifs until it finds, okay, left was pressed and it satisfies these conditions, therefore, it exits the loop. Let's do it. So, the first thing is going to be, if I'm facing right, speed tier 0. So it's going to be this one. If you press left, your speed tier 0, and you're facing right, you're not facing right anymore, increment your speed tier, which will give you the negative dx. So that's the first one. Else if. Okay, whatever. Oh God. Oh no. Okay. I guess. Okay. Jeez, I'm just so bad at this. There we go. Nope, that's not right. Gosh, this is... I'm sorry you guys had to watch that. Why? Okay. 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 So one thing I'm trying to ask myself is, like, if I'm trying to do the swap to face left when I'm stopped, do the lines of code above it get called or evaluate to true in the scenario that I'm wanting to turn left, which, since this one is based on the speed tier being 0, oh, I do ask about it right here. So yeah, look at that. Yeah, and it would be grounded. Huh. Yeah, this also needs to be ungrounded. because if I am in the air and my speed tier is 0 and I'm facing right and I press left, I don't want it to increment my speed tier. I might want it to swap my direction, but that's another case right here, turning left, yeah, where it's left and you're facing right and you're not grounded. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I should ask if it's grounded for that first one. Yeah, that just looks prettier. Okay, so else if we're grounded and we're facing right, wait, what? No. Left is pressed. Wait. What the fuck? This is supposed to increment my speed tier when left is pressed and I'm moving left. And I'm grounded. So that should increment my speed tier when left is pressed. So yeah, I wouldn't, the difference between this one, here, let me see. See, look, yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is like the same shit. It's asking if it was pressed. It's asking if my speed tier is less than 5. Which if it's 0, it would be less than 5. So the order of operations would make sense to say, like, hey, check if it's in speed tier 0 first. Then this one won't get executed. So if my speed tier is 1 through 5, that means my DX is going to be left. And I'm grounded, and I'm facing left already. Then increment my speed tier. So that's like, and it's not just facing left, it's moving left. Then increment speed tier. So yeah, there's 2 scenarios in which pressing left would increase my speed tier. The first one is when I'm facing right and my speed tier is 0 and I'm grounded. And the second is when I'm already moving left and left is pressed and I'm grounded. Okay. Now turning. Left is pressed and I'm grounded and I'm facing right and my speed tier is 0. Then does that interfere with this one? Yeah, it's the same shit. Mother. Yeah, I mean, this is where all the problems are coming from. You guys see what I'm talking about here? Like, if I'm trying to turn... Oh, you know what? Hold on. This takes care of the turning for me. Yeah, I don't need this separate case because this is already doing it for me. This one was just saying, hey, just, you're not facing right anymore. And then therefore, yeah, I mean, that's just garbage. That's all messed up. I feel like that first case scenario, yeah, when I'm 0, facing right and grounded, left is pressed, not only do I need to be facing right like this, but also increment that speed tier. And since I'm facing right and the speed tier will be 1, the DX will be negative, ideally. So, junk it. Next. Let's not do the midair one just yet. I don't know why, but let's do this. Stops when facing right, yeah. So if left is pressed and you're facing right, and your speed tier, see, yeah, okay, yeah, smaller than 2, yeah. Wait, that's not exactly right. This explains why I was having so many problems, though. Because here, Like, hey, left is pressed, and you're facing right, and your speed tier is less than 2. Okay. Under what conditions do we stop when left is pressed? And this is where the skid, like this is the one that's going to be fixing the skid. Because if our speed tier is 0 or 1, see, yeah, we shouldn't do less than 2. It's only going to be if my speed tier is 1, because if my speed tier is 0, I need to be going left already. So if my speed tier is equal to 1, and I'm facing right, and left is pressed, I need to stop. I do still need to be facing right, which is fine. I just need to set myself speed tier to 0. Let me check, make sure that that if my speed tier is 0, I'm getting a 0 dx. Yeah, my speed tier is 0. Yep, 0 dx. Okay, that should be correct. Let's do this before the left turn for whatever reason, or the midair turn. Okay, now let's do the skid. I'm just thinking, like, if my speed tier is 0, I should stop the skid sound. And if my dx is 0, I should stop the skid sound. I don't know where I should put that. Because I really do think this is unnecessary. But we can fix that potential bug by saying, hey, if your dx is 0, or your speed tier is 0, or something else, I don't know. Okay. So, at what points do we want pressing left to make a skid? Well, we got to be higher than speed tier 1. We got to be grounded. Got to be facing right. Yeah. Okay. Last one. Well, if left is pressed, and we're facing right, and we're not self-grounded, then you ain't facing right anymore. Cool. where is it that I turn? I'm looking for the code that says if I become grounded and I'm moving right, I need to be facing right. So I can do a self dot grounded whenever this is true. Right here. If really? Okay. I don't. Oh, that was right here. Yeah. Yeah. So if my y becomes at ground level, and I'm grounded, then if my speed tier is greater than 1, wait, greater than 0? So I'm in speed tier 1 and I land and I'm facing the other way. My speed tier is greater than 1 and I'm facing right. I need to do better at that. That needs to, because I need to, like, how do I tell that I'm moving right? And right now I can say, hey, if I'm facing right and my speed tier is greater than 1, I'm moving right. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if my speed tier is greater than 1 and I'm facing right and I hit the ground, which that code needs to change once I start doing collisions and stuff, that, speed tier greater than 0 and I'm facing right, that means I'm moving right. If my y becomes, no. So I guess this, well, no, fuck. Because I only want it to be when I become grounded. Not if I already am grounded. So and I'm clamping. Yeah. I want to keep working. I have to use the bathroom, but I don't want to merge two OBS files together, so I'm just going to run real quick. Actually, maybe I just got an idea. I've been working with this, so maybe y'all can listen to this. How about that? So yeah, I died last night. I played like 10 minutes of tutorials on that. It's a cool app some dude made to do like live music coding. So I want to figure that out more. But anyway, I'm back. Okay, so I need to figure out how to determine when to turn around if my DX doesn't match my facing position or whatever you want to call it. So previously I had it so that if my DX was positive, yeah, maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. It's not that I want to change the direction I'm facing. If I land and I'm facing the wrong direction according to my DX, what I need to do is ensure that if my DX is positive, I'm setting the right facing direction. Then I don't have to worry as long as I'm grounded. Okay. So I just need some line that says, hey, if I'm grounded and my DX is positive, I'm facing right. Otherwise, facing left. Well, no, because groundedness. Okay. Excuse me. I think that's okay to do over here. Like, we don't. See, because this is like longhand way. This is longhand way of just saying like, hey, if you're grounded. So, this whole line of code needs to go at some point. But I'm just going to add it here. I'm going to say, if you're grounded, and speed tier greater than 1, greater than 0, then I know your ostrich is facing right. And if you're grounded, oh yeah, already wrong. So this is basically what I was doing up here that did it. It was like, hey, your speed tier greater than 0 and you facing right, then you facing right and grounded, and then the grounded just comes from right there. So yeah, it's the same thing. I'm just pulling it out to a separate line. So is there any time that this would mess up? Like, is there a time I shouldn't be facing right when I'm grounded and my speed tier is 0 and my DX is positive? And the answer is no, correct? And then this is the same thing. It's like, hey, you're in a speed tier, but your speed tier is the negative direction. dx is negative direction, then you ain't facing right. Okay. Now, I think that's right. So that line of code ensures that I'm facing the right direction when I'm grounded. Is that right? As long as I'm moving. Yeah. So where this one screwed me was it wouldn't set facing it wouldn't set it correctly if my speed tier was 0. I think. Anyway, let's just say that solves it, and that is the ensures correct or ensures the ostrich is facing direction of dx. Okay, now let's do right. So if this is my left, what is the order here? I've got good feelings about this. He said before it all broke even more. Okay, so the first order of operations is to turn around. I'm checking if I'm stopped. Like, hey, if right is pressed and I'm stopped and I'm facing left, then I need to turn around. So this one is the very first one is the turn around and go once, or if stopped. That's the first order of operations, and we had to do that because that's the one that has to be first, because otherwise, if you hit left and you're in a speed tier smaller than 5, which, 0 still is smaller than 5, we don't want to just increment the speed tier. We want to change the way you're facing. And I guess we can add, because it doesn't matter. Like, you can also add, hey, just set facing right anyway to false if left is pressed. But we don't have to be redundant. We can do it with that else, or that first if statement. Okay, so if the first line is going to be this one, and okay, so I'm saying right is pressed while I'm stopped and I'm facing left. I'm actually going to be facing right and increment my speed tier. I gotta also be grounded. Okay. Next. Incrementing speed tier when you're already facing that direction. So, else if right is pressed, I'm in speed tier 1 through 5, and I'm grounded, and I'm facing right already, then just increment the speed tier. Next. Stops when facing So right is pressed. I'm facing left, and my speed tier is 1. That's the only time I would just stop is when my speed tier is 1. Otherwise, I'm going to be skidding. So, yeah. And speed tier is 1. Yeah, I had the same thing down here. Then speed tier 0. Okay, next. Skid flag. Okay. Skidding, when press right, should happen when right is pressed. And I'm facing left. My speed tier is greater than 1. And I'm grounded. Then I should be skidding. Is that right? Looks right. I gotta make sure my skid stop logic is sound after this. Okay, next. Turning left in midair. Seeing this is already covered. This is already covered. Turning only happens when I'm grounded. I'm facing right. No, I'm not. I'm facing left, and right is pressed. Yeah, okay. Bye-bye. Here we go. So this first one is and if I'm stopped and I'm facing that direction, it will do a redundant setting face, setting it's facing right. It'll do that even though it doesn't need to, but it's okay. Turning right in midair would be if right is pressed and I'm facing left and I'm not grounded. Then, hey, turn around. Yep. Okay. Yo, I'm feeling much better about this. I'm just going to check my stop skidding logic here real quick. So, skidding is false. If my dx is positive Okay, well, yeah. So skidding, yeah. If I'm moving right and I'm already skidding, if my dx is 0, which it becomes 0 after this. Once it gets to 0, and good thing I clamped it to 0 too. I'm feeling good about this. I'm gonna jinx it. I'm jinxing it right now. Should we try it? Should we try it, y'all? If that's the only mistake I made, okay, I'm going to press right. I'm going to press left, and hopefully we don't skid. I'm going to press left. Shit, you asshole. Why? Let me see if just starting pressing left works. Nope. Okay. So left is pressed. Speed tier 0. Okay, so when the game starts, my speed tier 0. I'm facing right. I'm grounded. If left is pressed, I should be facing left. So at the bare minimum, pressing left should make it so that facing right is false. And it does not do that. That makes no sense to me. I'm just baffled. Let me make sure speed tier 0 facing right and grounded are both true at the beginning. Grounded, facing right, speed tier 0. So pressing left should make me face left. It does nothing. What am I missing, y'all? Nothing's different. Oh. So here's the deal. That's why you don't copy and paste. Okay, I'm going to press left. Please move left. Thank God. I'm going to press right. Let's not skid and just stop, yo. Thanks. Now that I'm in speed tier 2, let's skid. Nice. 3. Nice. 4. Nice. 5. Nice. I'm going to press right. Nice. Let's stop and not skid. Thank you. Let's skid. Let's skid at 3. Thank you. Nice. Nice. Okay. Nice. Cool. So now I don't have it where I can just turn, so I fixed that. So the big thing now is if this code in fact helps me do the turn in midair. So I'm flying, yeah? Let's face left. Nice. When I land, keep moving right. Keep moving right. Fuck. Yes. Fuck. Yeah. Other way, yo. Oh, but did you hear that? It wasn't making the sound. It wasn't making the footstep sounds once I landed. Keep moving left, homie. Keep moving left. Nice. Okay, so 2 things. Not making sound upon landing. It only doesn't make... Oh. Only on tier 5 it's not making the sounds after not landing. Or after landing. So 2 things. Look at that. When I'm landing, see the white box draws like beneath the ground there for like 1 frame. We need to fix that. Oh, that's so nice. The skidding's working. The stopping is working. The turnaround and DX is working. That's huge. So the 2 things we need to fix now are the why does it stop? Why does it stop the footstep sounds? This is just like... Did I just delete this completely or something? Let me see what my speed 5 sound is. Oh, no, yeah. Okay, so there's only 4 speed sounds because wait. There's only 4 speed sounds. Walking should be the walking sound. That's tier 1. For whatever reason, I don't have a different tier 5 sound. How did it get this far without having that? Anyway, I think both speed 2 and 3 should have the same. I don't know if I need these. I'm planning on deleting basically all of this garbage here in a sec, but for whatever reason, it's like if you delete stuff and then stuff breaks, even if it's still busted, sometimes it's easier just to toggle it back on so you could diagnose it better, like how it used to be, instead of just starting from scratch again. But okay. So it's like, first you got to stop the sound that was playing, the footsteps that were playing. Then you got to play, or then you got to loop the sound. Then you got to play said looped sound. Let's see if that gives us sound at speed tier 5 again. So I think I'm deciding that, I just need to make another, because there's only 4 speed sounds, but there should be 5. So I'm just missing a speed sound. So I need to I don't know, maybe I'll on break off stream or whatever, I'll look at if there is 5 unique footstep sounds. And if there is, I'll have to, make another one. But the 4 and 5 being the same kind of feels okay. One thing is, though, when skidding, I also want to stop any sound of footsteps. Wait, that's not right. When skidding is true. Right here. So now instead of the footsteps overlapping the skid, it doesn't sound like it turns off right away, but I don't know. It sounds fine. What was the other thing we needed to do? Oh, the box. So when I'm hitting the ground, the box, for whatever reason, is like, for one frame, kind of being drawn. Oh, you know what? That was what I deleted over here, right here. Yeah, okay, so what this does, well, hold on. See, yeah. This 56. Self.hot is 20, so this is the same. It's like this line says, hey, your Y is clamped to the lowest it can go is the ground level. But let me see. I'm going to see if that line of code changes the... Yeah, see that white goes beneath the ground there. Does this change that? It does. Why is that the case? So this is saying, like, hey, self.y is getting set to its current y plus its delta y. But if that delta y is greater than, right, because the math.min function will return whatever value is lower, smaller. So if it's bigger, maybe that's why it's messing up. This should be math.max. Because y, 0's at the top. Bigger numbers are down. So if self.y gets dy, then dy is negative when you're jumping and stuff to bring you up. So if I'm clamping it to the higher value, the highest value being the ground, we shouldn't need this to fix that drawing the square above the ground bit. And we've broken everything. I'm a little confused by that. I thought that would fix it, because right there I'm saying your y gets set to your current y plus your delta y. And then when I jump, delta y is getting a negative value, meaning going higher. So math.min will return the smaller of the two values. One of the values is a pretty big number because it's the ground. So it's in the 200s or whatever. That's a big number. And dy, or current y, plus yourself dy, which is a negative number. Well, no. Yeah, because dy can be a positive number if I'm moving downwards, which is I'm like constantly moving downwards if I'm in the air, because right here dy gets dy added by gravity scaled by delta time. This just seems wrong to me. So the thing is, this code is basically this. Like, hey, your y is updated by delta time. Where do I say x gets its current x plus its delta x? Right here. So this code here changes my height if I'm not grounded. No, if I am grounded. So this is saying like, hey, if your y is at the floor, only at the floor, not greater than, which is why I had to do the math.min here. Is that right? Yeah. Math.min is right. So my the thing that still confuses me is like, it's like saying like, hey, y is gonna get it's y plus it's change in y, but y cannot be any greater than the ground level. See, so I would think that this line would change nothing, because this is exactly what this is the same. Well, it's not exactly the same. That's why, yeah. That's why, okay, yeah. Yep. That's it. I think it's because this 36 is how tall. Wait, why is it 36? Oh, the 36 is right there from the ground. So the self height is where it's messing up. So if it's 20, which is the height of the standing ostrich, I'm going to comment this out real quick. Then I'm expecting to see the white below the line here when I land. Oh, great. Why is that the case, man? Oh, lordy. I need to clamp it to the ground. So my inkling is I'm clamping Y to, oh yeah, it makes sense. I do need this line. And it's not redundant, even though it's the same as this. Because it's because I'm changing the height here. Because when I'm in the air, my height is only 16 or 13. When they're in the air, they're like a shorter rectangle. So yeah, I'm gonna, just for clarity's sake, I guess. And this 36, I should probably add this here as a constant. I'm working. No. No. ground offset. So this. So this line of code makes it so that my Y does not go lower than the ground floor. So but when I'm in the air, I'm a little shorter. So it'll allow me when I'm shorter to make contact with the ground, at which point I need to be like, hey, now that you're touching the ground, set your Y to be 20 pixels higher because now you're standing because your self height is 20 now. So I do need this line and I do need this line. And even though I'm clamping it to the same value here, I still need to do this because the height changes. Shit. Why you gotta do me like that? I think it's because I think I need to do this. Oops. I gotta do this first. Height gets 20. Then you set it to self height. That should fix it. Yeah, do you see how it looks like it grows? Like it, and it doesn't get drawn beneath. Yeah, that's perfect. That's it. Okay. Stop and don't skid. Thank you. Stop and don't skid. Thank you. Let's skid. Yes. Let's skid. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're flying. We're flying. We're flying. We're turned. Keep your DX. Thank you. Returned. Keep your DX. And we're still making sounds. That's a big success, y'all. That's big. That's big. I feel like that's finally a save point, right? Or a commit point, rather. This is huge. That's great progress. And felt like my reasoning was good. Well, it took me a little while to find it. But sweet. Let's check this out. Only play footstep while grounded. Yep. Only play skidding while grounded. Yep. Only skid if grounded. Yeah. We cannot skid. We can only change directions in the air. We fixed landing backwards. We fixed the reset. We stopped the skid sound stop the skid sound if DX is 0 and speed tier 0. I think we did do that. Yep, dx is 0, but not if speed tier 0. I think that's okay because so skid'll only stop if dx is 0. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I didn't do speed tier 0, etc. because it's just redundant. Because if dx is 0, so I guess the question is like, if dx is messed up, then skidding could potentially be stuck in a loop of never getting stopped. But we shouldn't have a bug where, if skidding starts, it gets dx to 0 fairly fast because that's how I coded it, like right there. It gets higher and higher until it hits 0, and then the other one gets lower and lower until it hits 0. So I think I'm okay with that. And this was the same one. So yeah, so we still got to refactor. We refactored a bunch of player class items, which is nice. And then we put all of this input handling all organized. Is much nicer to read now. Makes a lot more sense. I'm just going to give myself a little space there. And the else if was the way to do it because I was pretty sure that, not only faulty code logic, but that's the way to do it. Because if an input is put in, we only want one case to be calculated for, not overriding other values. And we got up a space now. That was huge. That's a huge update, guys. That's huge. That is a save point for sure. So, fixed. So we fixed the landing, fixed the turning, fixed skidding. Streamlined input handling. Anything else? That's probably a good enough commit message. Look at that. 98 deletions, 102 insertions. That's from the we took stuff out of play state, moved it into the player class. Then we'll get push to our remote repository on our original JAWS branch. Booyah. And if you want to play this, you can git clone this repository or just go to the GitHub. This is the repository. I need to change that. Highlight text color. Yeah. You could download it. Love2D's open source and free. You just drag and drop the folder once you unzip it, and you'll be able to play it. If you want to follow along, and you can even take this code and manipulate it yourself and everything. But it was a great success for today. I think we're at a nice solid stopping point to kind of clean up not only the notes, but all of this unnecessary old code that I've been saving. And then we can really kind of get our head around what. See, look at that. Like, that's a disgusting play state right now. Everything's commented out. But yeah, we'll get that looking nice and pretty. And then next time we can probably also do the ramp speed tier when the arrow key is held, which is like the original game had it, and then also add sprites. Because now that the basic physics of it is working, I think I feel pretty confident in just adding the sprites because, one, all the logic now for facing right or left is there. So now, if we add sprites, it'll like instantly make the game look, 10 times better because instead of a white box, it's an ostrich. And then if we get the animation working, which in the previous joust, I was doing the 2-player joust. I did have my own sprites and everything, but they were bigger than the current or the original joust sprites. So right here. Wait. There we go. Those were my ostriches. So I'll be remaking those, low res like these, with this as a guide. And then it'll start to, it'll really start to feel like Joust, because right now it's feeling like it when you play it, but it doesn't look like it. Big things. So yeah, we pushed. All right, I think we're good. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow. Really happy with what got done today. Good, successful day. Take care. Catch ya.